Stop for a second and ask yourself, why does it feel like the world you're building your future in is rigged? Like no matter how hard you push forward, there's a silent hand steering power and capital somewhere else. Behind layers of polished smiles and corporate slogans about global progress? That's not coincidence. That's globalism pulling strings like a new kind of soft imperialism, compressing your freedom, your vision, your potential into neat boxes they can control. You think it's about connection, collaboration, open markets? Wake up, it's about control. Control dressed in the language of freedom to blind you, to make you settle for scraps instead of claiming the feast you deserve. What's burning behind your frustration is not just economic pressure or competition. It's the feeling of being squeezed by invisible boundaries that globalism pretends don't exist. Borders aren't just lines on maps anymore. They are chains disguised as open doors. Soft imperialism means that instead of boots on the ground, they use regulation, cultural influence, corporate alliances, and narrative control to dictate what you can and cannot do. Your ideas, your companies, your capital, all funneled into corridors built not for your growth, but for maintaining a system that works for the few, not the founders, investors, and leaders who are supposed to be changing the world. But here's the edge. This isn't a call to collapse, but to transcend. Your frustration, your anger, it's fuel, the raw power to burn their illusions down and build something real. You don't need to beg for permission from the system. You must stop playing by its rules. You have the tools to bypass their soft chains by creating real connections. Fierce, autonomous networks of individuals who refuse to be puppets. Stop joining crowds chasing empty promises. Form the few who dare to challenge every assumption they hand you. Tie your future not to flags or platforms, but to unbreakable human bonds that transcend territory and dogma. Each step you take must be radical in clarity. Question every fact sold to you. Reality is not the comfortable story they feed the masses. Dig for the structures under the illusions. Look at how capital moves, how culture shapes your options, how power consolidates behind global cooperation. Only by seeing this clearly can you start dismantling it internally. Then build vigorously from this truth. Your freedom is absolute if you claim it, without waiting for permission, without being boxed into nationalism or identity categories. Freedom isn't a gift, it's a weapon. Wield it by accepting that diversity is your strength, not your weakness. That merit, ability, and relentless self-overcoming will pull you above the masses trapped in complacency. This is why you don't just scale your startup or amass capital. You become a breaker of chains. You build systems that serve true innovation, inclusive growth, and radical impact. That means using your market power not to replicate the system, but to transform it. Capital must fund the impossible. Build ventures that don't follow old paths, but create fresh, explosive ones. Reject shallow globalization that dilutes identity and enforces soft control. Forge global ties that thrive on dynamic meritocracy and real freedom, where the only borders that exist are the ones you consciously choose, and where people come together not to serve the state or an ideology, but to amplify individuality and collective power. The rage you feel is the world tipping upside down. Don't let it consume you. Harness it, direct it. You are not just a player in this game, you're the one needed to rewrite the rules. Cut through the noise. Align with those who reject illusions and build relentless synergy. Rise from the frustration. Connect deeply with the few who hold the vision and courage to dismantle soft imperialism. Shape the future as a liberated, self-directed individual whose power can no longer be contained by lies masked as globalism. This is the edge where you stop being a passive actor and become an unstoppable force to reshape reality itself. Grab it now. Fight soft imperialism not with brute force, but with sharp clarity, real connection, absolute freedom, and an unbreakable commitment to evolving yourself and everyone you unite with. Your time to transcend everything is now.